With the announcement of a new Spyro after all these years, and Activision sending me a special package to take part in the ride, suddenly the purple dragon who takes up a small part of my brain started growing and growing until boom! I need to make some more Spyro content. And what better way to do it than finally making another Mysteries video following up the one I made for the first game with its sequel. Get ready, because today we explore the Mysteries of Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. The Fountain Coin. One of the main centerpieces in the Mystic Marsh level is a giant fountain that has stopped flowing. We come to find out the wizard who's supposed to be maintaining it fell asleep and needs to be woken up. But in the fountain, and as an item acquired in this level, we can see some special coins. You may notice the pattern on the special coin looks interesting, and may question what it actually is. If you can't tell, it's a face. And not just any face. In a rare This Mystery is Solved, it's actually an Easter egg of one of the original developers from Insomniac, Dan Johnson. It's his face. Let me make this easier to see. Can you see it now? Dan Johnson sadly passed away, but his memory will forever live on in the original PS1 version of Spyro 2. And he also went on to have many cameos in future games as well. Happy hunting! The orbs are dark magic. Throughout the game, one of our main goals is collecting these magical orbs. These orbs power up the portals that take us between worlds. It's never fully explained how these work or who created them in the game. It's just something that is there we need to collect. In the manual, however, it does say directly the professor created the orbs to power these portals. If we dove into what these orbs could actually be, my best guess is a piece of giant green gem as seen in Glimmer that can store magical energy, much like these lamps we have to light. And they're fitted with a metal piece that allows them to charge up in sync. The orb's abilities seem to change based on the color they are, like we see in the final battle with Ripto. They can be infused with different kinds of energy to create different effects. Green allows for a meteor shot, blue gives us a supercharge, and red gives us the super flame, which is in line with the red power crystal Ripto takes and is able to shoot flames from his staff. Once defeated though, we get a special golden yellow orb, and these seem to give the power of flight. All of these orbs and their different energy infusions most likely power the power-ups we can acquire throughout the game. And the energy to power the crystals, funny enough, comes from the spirit energy of our defeated enemies. These orbs are filled with power for sure, but it's soul power from spirit particles. These things are really dark magic if you think about it. Think about in the last battle with Ripto, all the orbs we're getting? Yeah, off-screen, Allura and the others are just murdering packs of creatures to power them. This is dark. Skelos Badlands monster. In the Skelos Badlands, we encounter cavemen, small lizards that give us health, a living skeleton, and lava lizards. But in the background of this level, not given a ton of attention, there are two giant skeletons. These creatures are so enormous that they create cave structures we can explore. What are these creatures? They look an awful lot like giant dragons, but since Avalar doesn't have dragons, could it be a lava lizard? Except the lava lizards only have one horn in their jaw, and the teeth don't match up. We only see these as babies though, so it's possible they change and grow as they get older, but these really just don't seem to match up. Can we get any other clues from other levels? Well, interesting enough, originally, Skelos Badlands was meant to be paired with Crystal Glacier, and called Skelos Glaciers. And if we explore that level, it too has giant skeletons in it. But these are even different than the ones we're looking at in Skelos, with one looking more like a giant gator, and one like a serpent. We can also see many fossilized ancient creatures like mammoths and potentially lava lizards. These giant skeletons seem to imply there was an ancient past with many creatures here. Perhaps dragons and other creatures came from naturally occurring portals back in the day as Spyro and Ripto did, and they just died off without a population to support them. Otherwise, I'm not sure what these could be, but they certainly add some mystique to the world. What do you think they are? Land Blubbers versus Breeze Builders. Which side is in the right, and why are they fighting? The Land Blubbers are slug-like looking creatures, while the Breeze Builders are birds. One makes their home in the ground while the other in the sky. We don't get any real context for why they're fighting, and in fact, Spyro helps both sides in two separate levels. That's actually really funny. Evidently, the war between these groups is supposed to be a nod to the fact birds eat grubs, which totally makes sense. Depending on which level you visit first, they seemingly accuse the other of firing the first shot, and everything is retaliation. But according to some scrapped dialogue from Allura, these two groups used to get along.
Breeze Harbor is the home to the Breeze Builders. Recently, they've been fighting battles with the land Blubbers from Zephyr. The Breeze Builders use steam power to drive their flying boats. Now the land Blubbers have invaded and put out all of the fires. It's really weird. They got along fine until Ripto arrived. I think he's just trying to stir things up so that he can take over Avalar more easily.
This whole war started due to Ripto being a menace. It's unclear what he did, but this war is his fault. I wonder what happened. Epilogue. Ever wonder what happened to your favorite characters immediately following the completion of the game? Well, if you get enough skill points, which are essentially hidden tasks within levels, such as completing 3 laps in Fractured Hills with the Supercharge, you can unlock the Epilogue, which will give you some pages in the guidebook to flip over, revealing what happened to your favorite characters. Let's take a look. Faunus Mortas. If you get every single skill point in the game, you unlock something else. The Faunus Mortas, which will show us creatures Basil the Explorer catalogs as extinct from Avalar. All of these are most likely scrapped enemies that never made the final cut, but they were close enough that these images can show what they would have been like. Guardus Fioritum, most likely a scorched and shady oasis enemy, a type of human guard with a turban on and a large sword. Catabatus, a cat with batwing-like ears. Since we have a creature called a cat bat, these may have been a sort of prototype version, so they probably belonged in the caves in Skelos Badlands. Farme Robotum, a robotic enemy type most likely from Robotica Farms. Druidus Schnickum, a purple-robed druid like the name suggests. I think this enemy type probably had some sort of competing instrument, as it's holding something we can't quite make out, and it would have been from Fractured Hills. Varmintum, a rat in a trash can. These must have been an enemy type intended for a modern setting, as they're in a trash can, so either Robotica Farms or Metropolis. Lizardum Fat Slowbay, that's quite a name. A giant green lizard with a club. These must be a variant of the enemy type we see in Glimmer, as they're very similar. Mr. Fistus. Looks like a troll or a goblin with horns. It looks a lot like some creatures we see in Magma Cone, so I'd probably put it there. Armapillo, a blue armadillo. I wasn't quite sure where to put this one. I went and checked the wiki, and was pleased to see that virtually every place I said previously for other characters, it agreed with. They have this one placed in Mystic Marsh, so let's go with that. Nervous Tickus, a green tick-like creature. I think it was intended for Crystal Glacier, since we have some enemy types there that look very similar. And finally, Wuss, which looks sort of like a large monkey-like enemy. I think it's possible it could have been an early version of the guys from Hurricos that take the power cells and taunt you. They have a similar build. No matter where these are from, it's really cool to see a bunch of these scrapped enemy types. Where is Ripto from? Ripto pops into the world through a portal, much like Spyro does. The coordinates used are 22475, which is Hunter's birthday. It could either be April 22nd, 1975 or February 24th, 1975. There's speculation on which one is which, but I wonder whose birthday that is, or if that holds any sort of significance within the company. I'm not sure. When Ripto enters the world, he has his companions, and they appear to be from a race of dinosaur-like beings. Ripto states there are no dragons, telling us he probably comes from a world that likely had dragons, since he knows what they are. It seems like those dragons held him back from conquering. He's small and utilizes magic, and since dragons seem to have an affinity for magic, this is most likely why he can't stand them, as it's the only source of power he's got. And they probably can do it better. Physically, dragons are all much larger than him. Spyro is basically the smallest dragon we see, and even he calls Ripto short. So Ripto really has a complex about his size, and magic's what makes him feel special among his peers. We could think Ripto comes from another world unrelated to Spyro, but since the Dragon Realm is connected to Avalar through portals, and we see portals everywhere, Perhaps Ripto comes from the same realm as Spyro and not a different one. He just comes from a land Spyro hasn't visited. Yet. Which, not to get ahead, but there are dinosaurs in Year of the Dragon. So likely Ripto's from the Forgotten Realms on the other side of the world Spyro's from. Well, that's all I have for you. Please drop a like on this video to help spread my content, and subscribe so you don't miss a future upload. Maybe check out my playlist of other mystery videos, especially the Spyro one. Until next time, have a good one.
Jiggylookback!